today we have a very important question, especially for the younger generation. Why does God have so many forms? Complex question. What is that? Why do some of these forms seem imperfect? Actually arise from a misunderstanding of what these forms are meant to teach. Divine appears in endless forms because human beings themselves, we come in endless forms. Think about it. Human beings need different roles to solve different problems in our lives. Why should we have the divine limited to just only one form? Narasimha avatar is teaching protection of the innocent. An avatar is teaching humility. For did he steal butter? According to the stories, of course, yes. But is the story teaching children to become thieves? Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Shri Ram, Om Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome back to the Clay Studios oil painting vlog number 95 of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamavali. This is a painting that follows the principle of calligram or micrography, using which 1,000 names of Sri Vishnu were painted. As the painting was coming up, I'm also trying to understand the deeper meanings lying under these names with the help of scriptures from Sanatana Dharma. Whatever I am learning as an amateur, I'm sharing with you via these weekly vlogs. Each vlog typically covers 10 names and the meanings, and then we traverse into tangential perspectives with the help of scriptures from Sanatana Dharma, so we understand some of these names a little better. Though we are covering 10 names in each of the vlogs, you will notice that I am constantly referring back and forth to the previous vlogs, simply because of the interconnectivity. The more deeper you understand the names and the contrasting elements of it, the more interesting it is, the more useful it is for your personal life or even professional goals. At least I could sense it, and I also encourage you to do that, to check out the previous vlogs and come back to this one, because in today's vlog we are going to cover 10 names and the meanings. Of course, we start with 931 and go on up to 940, and today we have a very important question, especially for the younger generation, that often get asked this question. Why does God have so many forms? Why? Let's understand that. But just before that, we're going to look at the 10 names and the meanings. Starting with the 931st name, Om Jivanaya Namaha. Jivan refers to the livelihood, life. So livelihood, and another meaning is that he who makes all beings live by being their soul. 932 is Om Paryavastithaya Namaha. Refers to the ultimately resulted, or he who is spread everywhere. Paryavastithaya Namaha. 933 is Om Anantarūpāya Namaha. The one with the endless form, he who has countless forms, or he who is in Adishesha. Who is Adishesha? There's also another perspective, and this is the name that we are going to touch upon in a short while from now. 934 is Om Anantaśriye Namaha. One who is with endless splendor, or he whose strength cannot be estimated. 935 is Om Chitamanyave Namaha. That is one who has conquered wrath, or he who has won over anger. 936 is Om Bhayapahaya Namaha. One who dispels fear, or one who removes fear. 937 is Om Chaturashraya Namaha. Refers to a square, or technically one who is just even, I would say. 938 is Om Gaviratmane Namaha. The soul that exists deep, or he who whose depth can never be found. It's talking about the depth of the divine. 939 is Om Vidishaya Namaha. The minor division of directions could be one of the references, or he who gives special favors is another perspective. 940 is Om Vyadishaya Namaha, refers to the directions or to oneself, or he who gives different works to different gods. Now we are done with the 10 names and the meanings, but different gods. Why does God have so many forms is what we are going to touch upon. Yes, let's get on with it right away. So we are exploring 2 of these names from the 10 names that we checked out. That is Anantarūpāya, the one with endless forms, and Anantaśriye, one with endless glory, endless splendor, and immeasurable greatness. So these names are raising a very important question that many young people are facing today. Why does God have so many forms? And even more complex question, what is that? Why do some of these forms seem imperfect? Yeah, perhaps we have also had comments like, oh, your Lord Krishna, why do you worship him? He is stealing butter. Why do you have to worship Shiva? He lives in a cremation grounds. And why do you worship Narasimha? He is looking so frightening, he's full of anger or something. Sometimes, children and young adults feel uncomfortable when confronted with such questions. And this is a difficult question. But some even begin to feel guilty about their own traditions, because the moment the question is posed, if you do not have an answer, you would start feeling, oh, maybe there is something wrong with what I'm doing. So you're starting to doubt your own traditions. But these questions actually arise from a misunderstanding of what these forms are meant to teach. Yeah? Sanatana Dharma does not present God as a single personality. Of course, the Brahman, the Nirguna Brahman, is always, just like any other thought process, I would say, not just mentioned as religion. Any other belief system follows that there is definitely a supreme, but it doesn't present itself as a single personality. It presents the divine as an infinite reality expressing itself through countless forms, countless situations and lessons. So this exactly is what the name Anantarūpāya means. So the divine appears in endless forms because human beings themselves, we come in endless forms. Think about it. Yeah, we are not the same. So a teacher is behaving very differently from a doctor, and it is also expected they do, because they are meant to do two different work, isn't it? A parent will be different from a judge. Let's say a soldier is supposed to act in a different form versus a monk. Yeah, yet all of them may be good people serving their society, doing their job in their own way. So if human beings need different roles to solve different problems in our lives, why should we have the divine limited to just only one form? We'll have to need some examples, isn't it? And those examples has to be close to what we are doing. Then we'll need more examples. So even in the Bhagavad Gita, we have gone through that many times, that the Lord is mentioning, I'm the source of all, and in me, from me, everything proceeds. So it's the source, but for the source there is zillion different dimensions coming out, isn't it? So if everything emerges from the divine, then every aspect of the existence become a potential classroom for us to learn. Yeah, so the divine therefore appears as Sri Rama to teach duty, pious, and so on. Sri Krishna to teach wisdom amongst complexity. Yeah, the Yuga itself posts a lot of complexity that Sri Krishna has to deal with. Narasimha avatar is teaching protection of the innocent. Vamana avatar is teaching humility. Matsya avatar is teaching how to preserve knowledge. Varaha avatar, how to protect the earth. We talked about global warming and climate problems and so on, isn't it? And we touched upon Varaha avatar again and again, Varahi Devi, also when we talked about those problems. So we have different problems and we need different examples to look at. Yeah, each form addresses a different human challenge. Yeah, or global challenge, let's say. Now let's take for example Krishna's childhood itself, his mischief. So did he steal butter? According to the stories, of course, yes. But is the story teaching children to become thieves? No, of course not. So the butter represents, it's a metaphor, the purest part of human heart. So Krishna steals the love of the devotees. Yes, the story is symbolic, it's metaphoric, it's playful, and it is deeply philosophical. Unfortunately, in modern society, often reads ancient, often one just ends up reading the ancient wisdom symbolism as if it were a newspaper report. But when symbolism is lost, then the misunderstanding begins. Yeah, so the same is true for many other stories within Sanatana Dharma. So the stories are not mere biographies of what happened here, what happened there. They are mirrors. They're mirroring what? When you stand in front of a mirror, what is it showing? It's our reflection. It's reflecting human emotions, our strengths, our weaknesses, our fears, the possibilities in our lives, everything. Yes, so it brings us to the second name that we have to touch upon today, that is Anantaśriye. So the one whose glory is endless. Why endless? Why is it an infinity? Because the divine cannot be exhausted by a single story, a single narrative, a single culture, a single language, a single form. It could be boring. I think the diversity is so interesting. We are different, isn't it? And that's what is so dynamic about this world. So the universe contains billions of galaxies. Nature produces endless varieties of plants, animals, landscapes, and people. Why should the divine be less diverse than its own creation? So in today's world, we celebrate diversity in culture, food, music, language, and identity. Yet sometimes people struggle to understand the spiritual diversity. So there is nothing wrong in praying to a form or praying without any form, just praying to the divine. Both are fine, and praying in any other method is also fine. It is just a reflection of the spiritual diversity. Sanatana Dharma teaches us something profound. The truth can be approached through many doors. Yeah. So the divine speaks different languages to different hearts. So the approach is different. Somebody will like Narasimha, somebody will love Lord Krishna. And even in Lord Krishna, there are people who are so much into the baby Krishna, all the mischief and so on, and enjoying that. There are thought processes that are so much into Bhagavad Gita, the mature form of Lord advising spirituality or righteousness and such. So there are very different paths, and this is why we have these countless forms, not because God is confused, but because humanity is diverse. Yeah, and each form becomes a teaching tool. So the next time someone is asking, why do you worship a god who did this or that, just remember this. The purpose of these stories is not to create copies of divine actions. Yeah. So the purpose is to understand the lessons behind them. What is the metaphor? Try to, it's like a mathematics, try to solve the equation, and you will have to remove and replace the stories with what is happening in today's real. And that's what we have been doing in all of these vlogs. If you look at, the vlogs, what we have been doing, we have been looking at the past, the ancient scriptures and connecting it to today's situation. Yeah, can we connect? That's the way we start identifying the purpose, yeah, behind these, the lessons sitting inside these metaphors. Our child learns mathematics through examples, so humanity learns wisdom through stories. The divine therefore gives us countless examples. Some are gentle, some are fierce, some are so playful, and some are serious. Yeah. So together they form a complete education about life. So that is Anantarūpāya. The endless wisdom contained in all those forms is Anantaśriye. So never feel embarrassed by the diversity of Sanatana Dharma or any other thought process for that matter. Instead, see it as one of its greatest strengths. Because a tradition that can speak to so many kinds of people through many kinds of stories is actually a tradition that remains relevant across generations. I hope you found this interesting. Please do share your thoughts on the same in the comment section. Until we meet in the next session, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay motivated. Thank you. Bye-bye.